Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I continue bringing you the story of Diep and James, a journey that seems peaceful on the surface but is actually full of storms, where the efforts of a small, determined girl are constantly tested by challenges no one could foresee. In the previous episode, we saw Diep pour her heart and soul into building her clean produce supermarket. Every vegetable was carefully selected, every box of fruit was sourced with sincerity and respect for her customers. Thanks to her unwavering dedication, Diep's supermarket grew more and more crowded, sales increased significantly, and she became increasingly confident in the path she had chosen. She wanted to prove to James' father that she could absolutely succeed, even earning 10 times the amount he once offered her as a test. James always looked at her with pride, because to him, Diep was not only his girlfriend but also someone who made him believe that with faith and determination, any dream could come true. However, in stark contrast to their joy, James' father saw Diep's success as a threat. The more prosperous her supermarket became, the more he felt his own position being shaken. That sense of insecurity slowly ignited darker intentions within him. And as those thoughts grew stronger, he did not hesitate to take the first steps of a deeply malicious plan, aimed directly at the girl his son loved. That morning, the atmosphere inside the city hospital suddenly became unusually tense. A middle-aged man was rushed into the emergency room in a state of convulsions, difficulty breathing, and severe pallor. Doctors quickly examined him and concluded that he was suffering from acute poisoning, requiring immediate intervention to save his life. In panic and confusion, the man repeatedly insisted that the cause was the fruit he had eaten from Diep's supermarket earlier that morning. This information was immediately reported to the authorities, intensifying the seriousness of the situation. Investigators began taking statements, gathering information, and preparing to carry out the next steps to clarify the case. Everything happened so quickly that no one in the hospital realized that behind this seemingly random incident, a hidden hand was pulling the strings. Far away from the chaos of the hospital, inside a spacious, luxurious yet cold office, James' father sat behind a polished wooden desk. As he listened to his subordinate report the full situation, his eyes narrowed slightly, carrying a look that was impossible to read. The corner of his lips slowly curved upward into a thin, calculated smile. He was the one who orchestrated this entire scheme. From arranging for the man to buy fruit at Diep's supermarket and eat it on the spot to create evidence, to timing the hospital admission so it matched the supermarket's opening hours, everything was meticulously planned. Every small detail of the plan served one purpose: directing all suspicion toward Diep and her supermarket. In the silence of the room, so still that one could hear the pen tapping against the tabletop, he folded his arms, eyes sharp as if piercing through the future. To him, as long as the plan ran smoothly, Diep's reputation would be destroyed, her supermarket would be investigated, and all her hard work would crumble in an instant. He did not rush. He was not impatient. Everything was unfolding exactly as he intended, step by step, perfectly aligned. At Diep's supermarket, everything in the morning unfolded just as it always did. The vegetable shelves were being straightened by staff, bunches of fresh greens were lined up neatly, creating a refreshing sight the moment customers walked in. The sound of barcode scanners, the rustling of plastic bags, the chatter of customers asking about prices, all blended together into a familiar, bustling atmosphere. Diep stood in the fruit section, gently checking each tray of apples and each box of strawberries, her eyes focused and meticulous as always. She was thinking about expansion plans for the supermarket, about importing a few new fruit varieties and finding ways to give customers an even better experience. No one inside the supermarket, not even Diep, had any idea that a storm was quietly approaching, silent, but overwhelmingly powerful. A strange sound echoed through the usual noise. At first, it was just the faint click of hard-soled shoes tapping on the tiled floor. Then a second step, a third, and soon a whole group entered at once. Staff who were arranging vegetables immediately looked up, customers who were picking produce froze. Everyone's attention turned to the main entrance, where a group of uniformed officers walked in with stern expressions. One customer was so startled that they dropped the bag of vegetables in their hand. The sound of approaching footsteps grew louder, echoing through the supermarket that had been peaceful just moments before. Diep turned around, and in that instant, her heart plummeted. She had no idea what was happening. The officers didn't speak in circles, didn't hesitate. One stepped forward, his expression cold and serious, and presented a document before her. "We are here to confiscate all vegetables and fruits in this supermarket for testing." Diep froze. Each word hit her like a blow. Her staff exchanged terrified glances, while customers began whispering among themselves, curious eyes, suspicious eyes, all turning toward her. She forced a calm smile, but her lips trembled slightly. Could you please explain what is happening?" No one answered right away. The officer simply handed her another document and spoke in a flat, emotionless tone. "Ms. Diep, please come with us to the station regarding an investigation into suspected food poisoning." The world around her collapsed in an instant. She stepped back, her hand instinctively gripping the fruit counter behind her as if searching for something solid to hold on to. Her breath caught. Those words, how could they possibly be meant for her? She was always careful, always ensuring the products were clean and sourced responsibly. Every day, she personally inspected each shipment, signed with trusted suppliers. She even regularly tasted the produce herself. How could there be a poisoning incident? Diep's voice shook as she forced the words out. "That's impossible, my produce is completely clean. I haven't done anything wrong. There must be some mistake." But her voice was drowned out by another sound, the rising murmur of customers. "Looks like this supermarket really has a problem. I just bought stuff here yesterday. Oh my God, did we eat contaminated food? No wonder there are so many officers today." Her employees stood frozen, some turning pale with fear. One whispered, "Diep, what's really happening?" She couldn't answer. Her throat felt dry, her mind spinning. The officers began laying out tarps, taking notes, sealing crates of vegetables and fruits. Every thud of a closing lid stabbed into her chest. Her supermarket, her pride, her hard work, her dream, was now being treated like a crime scene. She stood surrounded by a circle of eyes, pitying, suspicious, judgmental. Rumors began to spread through the supermarket like thin smoke, faint, but suffocating. Her chest tightened. Her vision blurred for a moment. Before she could regain her composure, an officer touched her arm lightly, signaling, "Please come with us." The entire supermarket sank into a heavy, frozen silence. The glass doors at the front of the supermarket, the place where customers came and went in a lively stream every day, were now covered with stark white sealing notices. The bright red words, "temporarily closed for investigation," stood out against the transparent glass like a painful exclamation mark, striking directly at all the efforts Diep had poured into this place until now. That small sheet of paper, no larger than a hand, somehow carried enough power to shatter a person's heart. Diep's employees stood inside, none of them daring to even touch the seal. They stared at it as if staring at a verdict. Many looked lost, unsure whether to start cleaning up or simply stand still. A few held their heads in panic, while others could only huddle together, whispering anxiously with tense expressions. Customers outside couldn't stop talking. They stood at a distance, pointing, their eyes filled with curiosity mixed with caution. I didn't expect such a famous clean supermarket to run into a scandal. Who knows if anyone else got sick? Luckily, I didn't buy much yesterday. Oh dear, this is the end for them. Those whispers weren't loud, but each word felt like a sharp needle piercing deeper into Diep's chest. She was escorted to the front of the supermarket, where the police car was already waiting. Her legs felt numb, barely able to move as she staggered forward under the officer's guidance. Diep bit her lip, struggling to stay composed, yet the tears kept falling, each drop landing on her trembling wrist. Every time a customer's eyes met hers, her heart tightened a little more, not out of shame, but out of pain. Pain from being misunderstood. Pain from not knowing what was truly happening. Pain because she felt helpless in the very place she had built with love and belief. When the car door closed, the sounds outside were shut off as if someone had sliced her world in half. The small compartment was dim, cramped, and the silence only made her feel more confined, as though she was being pushed into an endless darkness. Diep lowered her head, her shoulders shaking, tears falling onto her knees. She clutched her shirt weakly, trying to take deep breaths, but each breath felt heavier than the last. She didn't know what was waiting for her ahead. She only knew that everything had collapsed far too quickly. Inside the company's meeting room, everything was proceeding as normally as any other strategic meeting. James was presenting the business plan for the upcoming quarter, his voice calm, steady, confident. But right at that moment, his phone suddenly buzzed non-stop, a call from one of Diep's close employees. He frowned slightly and gestured for a brief pause in the meeting. Yet the moment he lifted the phone to his ear, a panicked voice burst through so urgently it nearly cracked. James. Diep. Diep has been arrested by the police. James' heart stopped for a beat. The sounds in the meeting room faded. The numbers on the screen, the gazes directed at him, everything suddenly felt distant and meaningless. He shot to his feet, the chair clattering to the floor behind him, but he didn't even glance back. His face went pale in an instant, eyes widening in shock. What? How? He didn't even finish the sentence. I don't know. They came to the supermarket, they took all the produce for testing, the glass doors are sealed already. Please come quickly. James' heartbeat pounded violently, as if it were about to shatter his ribcage. Without a single moment of hesitation, he bolted out of the meeting room, leaving behind a room full of stunned faces. Down the hallway, each step was heavy, urgent, echoing alongside his ragged breaths, but in his mind, there was only one image, Diep. Where was she now? Was she hurt? Who had done this to her? His hands trembled as he pressed the remote to unlock the car. He yanked the door open and practically threw himself inside. The engine roared as he stepped on the accelerator, the car shooting forward as though if he were even a second late, he would lose the most precious person in his life. Nothing mattered more than Diep. No meeting, no project, no profit could ever compare. And in that moment, James had only one thought. He had to find her. He had to save her. At any cost. On the way to the police station, James could barely feel the world around him. Cars rushed past, horns blared, people talked on the sidewalk, even the traffic lights changing colors in front of him, all of it blurred together like a veil of fog stretched thin between him and reality. His mind focused on only one thing, repeating over and over, so loudly it drowned out everything else. Diep would never do this. Someone is framing her. His hands tightened around the steering wheel until his fingers went numb, yet James didn't even notice. Every time he pictured Diep's terrified face as she was taken away, his heart throbbed painfully as if pierced by 100 needles. Diep was always the one who prioritized cleanliness and safety above all else. She was more cautious than anyone he had ever known, using her own sense of responsibility to guarantee the quality of every vegetable and piece of fruit she sold. A person like that, how could she possibly cause food poisoning? No. Absolutely not. James believed in Diep with every bit of sincerity and understanding built through months of standing by her side. He knew her. He knew her habits, the way she managed her supermarket, the way she never once took a single customer for granted. This could not be her fault. It was impossible. Someone had to have engineered this. But while James tried to piece together possibilities, desperately searching for clues where none seemed to exist, he had no idea that the real culprit, the one pulling every string, the one who created every fragment of chaos that crushed Diep, was his own flesh and blood. A man he had always respected. A man he believed would never do anything wrong to his son. A man he considered the strongest pillar of their family. His father. That truth still hid in the shadows, cold and merciless, waiting for the right moment to shatter James' heart for the second time. His car cut through the wind as he sped forward, but inside James, questions tangled together, frantic, painful, suffocating. Would James be able to find proof to save Diep? Could he clear her name against the avalanche of rumors, against the rising misunderstandings spreading like a storm outside? Would the supermarket, the dream she had poured her entire heart into, be shut down forever, or would it have a chance to be vindicated? A small slip of paper could destroy everything Diep had spent years building. The mere thought of it made his chest tighten unbearably. And his father's scheme. How many more steps were there that James had yet to see? Everything he knew now might just be the surface of something bigger, deeper, and far more ruthless, a plan he himself had unknowingly become a part of. James pressed harder on the accelerator, his eyes reddened with fear and anger. He would fight to the end, no matter who he had to confront, even if it meant standing against the person closest to him. Because he knew that even a second of delay would bring more suffering to Diep. And he would never allow that to happen. Stay tuned for the next episode, where the entire truth will finally be revealed.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hiện tại thì mình đang làm video. Mình đang cố làm video sớm để short này. Ôi, xong rồi. Mình đang làm còn một vài bước nữa rồi mình chuyển sang mình làm thumbnail á mọi người. Bây giờ thì trở lại để làm thumb. Mình đã chọn được ảnh rồi. Cảm ơn mọi người rất nhiều. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ làm thumbnail và tối mình sẽ đăng tải video lên. Tạm biệt mọi người. Hẹn gặp lại trong những video sau.